Don't tell people about your problems, because most don't care and the rest are glad you have them. Harsh? Maybe. True? Absolutely. We live in a world where everyone is fighting their own silent battles. And while you're out here, opening the doors to your wounds, people are deciding how to use that information. Your struggles aren't a community project. They're not something to be passed around like a story at a dinner table. You don't heal by announcing your pain. You heal by owning it, facing it, and rising above it. Your strength grows when your suffering stays between you and your work. Not everyone deserves access to your vulnerability. That's not cruelty, that's clarity. You see, in life, we're constantly surrounded by people who smile in our faces but quietly measure our weaknesses. And the moment you hand over your problems, your fears, your insecurities, you've just given them a weapon. Some people aren't equipped to handle your truth. They'll either judge it, exploit it, or carry it somewhere you don't want it. So why give them that power? Protecting your vulnerability isn't selfish, it's strategic. It's understanding that your struggles are yours to conquer, not a public performance for sympathy. Think about it. Every time you share your problems, you reveal a piece of yourself that is raw, exposed, and unguarded. And in that moment, you're hoping for empathy, for understanding, for support. But the world doesn't operate on hopes. It operates on results, on observation, on human nature. Some people will see your pain and admire your honesty. Others will see it and calculate how it can benefit them. That's just the reality. People are not inherently bad, but they are self-interested. And until you recognize this truth, you will continue to hand your power to others without realizing it. There's a profound difference between connection and exposure. Connection is intentional. It's with people who have proven loyalty, wisdom, and discretion. Exposure is careless. It's when you think everyone around you is safe to bear witness to your struggles. You need to start separating the two. Not everyone should know about your setbacks. Not everyone should witness your doubts. The fewer people who carry your burdens, the lighter and stronger you become. It's in silence that you cultivate resilience. It's in privacy that you sharpen your mind and fortify your heart. And here's something people rarely understand. Vulnerability without discernment is dangerous. When you share your weaknesses, some will judge you not because they are cruel, but because it shifts the balance of how they perceive you. Humans are wired to measure strength, and weakness tends to attract underestimation, gossip, and even betrayal. Every word you speak about your struggles is a thread that can unravel your credibility if it falls into the wrong hands. So you have to ask yourself, who truly deserves to know? Who can hear without judgment? Who can witness without exploitation? That is the question you should live by every single day. This isn't about hiding your pain. It's about choosing wisely where your energy goes. It's about being intentional with who sees the real you. You don't need a crowd to validate your journey. You don't need applause for every battle you fight quietly. Your strength grows not in the telling but in the doing. There's power in carrying your burdens with dignity, in confronting your challenges without seeking permission or pity from the outside world. It's in that silence, that discretion, that real transformation takes place. So remember this. Not everyone deserves access to your vulnerability. Your struggles are valuable, not just because they shape you, but because they define the way you rise. Share your victories with the world. Let your actions speak. Let your results prove the battles you've fought. But your struggles, keep those close. Protect them fiercely, and let them fuel your growth in ways no one else can touch. Because the strongest people aren't the ones who talk about their problems, they're the ones who handle them quietly, rise above, and let the world see only the success they've earned. Constant complaining makes you look powerless. And this is one of the most dangerous traps anyone can fall into because it feels harmless at first. You think you're just letting off steam, sharing your frustration with someone you trust, or maybe even seeking advice, but what you're really doing is training people to see you as weak. Complaining doesn't lighten the load. It spreads it, and it spreads it in a way that makes others view you through a lens of helplessness. Every time you talk about what's wrong instead of what you're doing to fix it, you're reinforcing the idea that you can't handle your own life. Think about it. People are drawn to strength. Humans admire resilience, determination, and someone who takes responsibility for their circumstances. But when someone constantly complains, it sends the opposite message. It says, I can't control my life. I can't face my challenges alone. I need validation, sympathy, or help to survive. And the truth is, that's exactly how the world will treat you. It doesn't matter how capable you are behind closed doors. The moment you vocalize your frustrations repeatedly, others start to doubt your competence, your confidence, and even your ability to rise above your struggles. There's another layer to this that's easy to miss. Complaining attracts negativity. When you focus on what's going wrong instead of what you can do to fix it, your energy shifts toward frustration, resentment, and fear. And those emotions are contagious. They don't just affect you, they influence everyone around you. Your friends, colleagues, even family members start to absorb that pessimism. And over time, it shapes the way people see you. Instead of seeing someone who's capable and ambitious, they see someone who's trapped by their circumstances, someone who's defined by the problems they can't solve. But here's the thing, complaining doesn't solve anything. It doesn't change the situation. It doesn't create solutions. What changes things is action. What changes things is ownership. The strongest people in the world don't spend hours talking about what's wrong. They spend that time figuring out how to make it right. They look at a problem, analyze it, and do what needs to be done without expecting applause, sympathy, or advice from anyone. Their results speak louder than their words ever could. And that's the power you're giving away every time you complain your ability to shape your own narrative without interference. You also have to understand the social cost of complaining. The more you verbalize your problems, the more people tune out. No one wants to be around a constant storm of negativity. Even those who care about you will eventually step back because being around someone who complains continuously is emotionally draining. It's not that they don't love you. It's that your words are pushing them away. Complaining becomes a barrier, not a bridge. It isolates you instead of connecting you. So, you have a choice. You can continue to share your frustrations, letting them define how others perceive you and how you feel about yourself. Or you can act. You can take control of your situation in silence, solve your problem privately, and let the world see the results instead of the struggle. Complaining is easy. Action is hard. And it's that hard work, done quietly and consistently, that separates people who succeed from those who are trapped in a cycle of helplessness. Because the truth is, constant complaining doesn't make you relatable, it makes you powerless. The stronger path is silence. The stronger path is responsibility. The stronger path is action. People care less than you think. And this is a truth most of us refuse to accept because it feels harsh, almost cruel. But it's exactly why so many people struggle. Unnecessarily. We tend to overestimate how much attention others are paying to our struggles, our setbacks, and our pain. We assume that if we share our worries, someone will understand, someone will empathize, someone will step in. But the reality is, everyone is wrapped up in their own battles. Everyone has their own worries, their own deadlines, their own heartbreaks, and their own insecurities. And when you unload your problems, you are asking people to make room in an already crowded life. And many times they can't. This isn't about being heartless. It's about being realistic. People don't ignore your problems because they don't care. They're just human. They can only handle so much. And when you expect too much from them, when you share too much, what happens is not what you hope for. Instead of support, you get distance. Instead of empathy, you get distraction. People will nod politely. They'll say all the right words, but most will return to their own world without ever truly grasping the weight of your struggle. And that's normal. That's life. Here's the danger of thinking otherwise. When you believe people care more than they actually do, you give them power over your emotions. You hand over your peace of mind, your confidence, your sense of self. You start measuring your value by the attention and sympathy you get, instead of measuring it by what you do to solve your problem. That's a dangerous habit because it ties your happiness to someone else's ability to feel or act. And when that doesn't happen, frustration builds, resentment builds, and the cycle repeats. There's also a social reality we rarely admit. When you overshare your struggles, people often don't know how to respond. They want to help, but they don't know how. And when someone can't respond in the way you need, they may withdraw. It's not rejection. It's just the human limitation of empathy. People are not therapists. People are not miracle workers. And believing they are sets you up for disappointment every single time. That doesn't mean you face everything alone. It means you choose wisely. who deserves to see your battles. It means you share only with those who have shown that they can hold your trust without judgment, without taking advantage, and without turning your pain into gossip. Most of the time, those people are rare, and that's okay. That's why your strength must come from within first, and then carefully, from those few you can rely on. The truth is, when you stop expecting others to carry your burdens, something incredible happens. You take full responsibility for your life. You stop waiting for validation. You stop hoping for empathy. You start acting. You start solving problems. You start building resilience. And people notice not because you told them how hard it was, but because they see what you achieved despite the struggle. That's infinitely more powerful than any sympathy or attention you could have received. So understand this. People care less than you think. And that's not a limitation, it's an opportunity. It's the opportunity to reclaim your power, to stop outsourcing your strength, and to realize that your problems are yours to manage first, and only then to share selectively, if at all. Your life changes when you stop seeking emotional approval and start seeking solutions. Because the fewer people who carry your burdens, the stronger you become and the more respect you earn by handling your own struggles without expecting anyone to rescue you. Your problems can be used against you. And this is one of the most important truths you need to understand if you want to protect yourself and your future. Every piece of personal information you share, every vulnerability you reveal, every struggle you admit to, is potential ammunition in the wrong hands. People don't always have to be cruel to take advantage of you. Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's quiet. They store what you've shared, and at the right moment, they use it to influence you, manipulate you, or simply measure how much power they have over you. That's why discretion is not optional, it's essential. Think about it. Every time you open your mouth about your struggles, you give someone insight into your weaknesses. And weakness is a currency in human interactions. People unconsciously or consciously test it. They gauge how much pressure you can handle, how easily you can be persuaded, how far you can be pushed. If they know the battles you are fighting, they know the buttons to press, the levers to pull, and the moments when you are most vulnerable. You might trust them. You might even think they would never harm you. But human nature doesn't always care about your trust. Weakness is noticed, and sometimes it's exploited. This isn't about being paranoid, it's about being wise. Sharing your problems indiscriminately is like leaving your front door open and expecting nobody to enter. Life isn't that kind. There are always people who will take advantage, who will use information for leverage, for gossip, for personal gain, and once it leaves your control, you can't take it back. That's the reality. Once your struggles become public, they stop being yours. They become part of someone else's strategy, their narrative, their power play, and suddenly, what you thought was a moment of vulnerability becomes a tool to manipulate you or diminish your influence. There's a lesson in this. Your life is a battlefield, and not everyone fighting beside you is on your side. That's not to say people are evil. It's to say people are human. Humans instinctively notice weakness, and they instinctively respond to it. Some with compassion, some with indifference, some with subtle manipulation. Your responsibility is not to change them. Your responsibility is to protect yourself. Protect your mind, protect your heart, and protect the information you share. Keep your struggles close, because when you reveal them recklessly, you invite consequence you can't predict. The strongest people don't advertise their difficulties. They move through life quietly, facing challenges head-on without giving anyone the satisfaction of knowing their fears or doubts. They let their success, their resilience, and their results speak louder than their problems ever could. When someone has nothing to exploit, they have no leverage over you. And that is where true freedom lies, the freedom to act, to think, to grow without interference or manipulation from others. And remember, this isn't about hiding from help. It's about choosing who earns the right to see the real you. It's about trusting your instincts, discerning who has proven loyalty, who will respect your privacy, and who will hold your struggles without judgment. Your problems are sacred because they shape your journey. Share them recklessly, and they can become a weapon against you. Guard them, and they become your fuel, your strength, your edge. Because the moment you realize that your problems are not public property, that your struggles are your own, you stop giving others power over your life. You reclaim control, and with control comes strength, dignity, and the ability to rise above anyone who ever thought they could hold you back. Healing happens through action, not attention. And this is a truth that many people struggle to grasp because it goes against the instinct to seek validation. We live in a world where sharing pain is almost encouraged. Post a problem online, vent to friends, complain to family, and we expect the relief to come from others, from sympathy, from acknowledgement. But here's the hard truth. Talking about the problem does not fix the problem. Relief does not come from the nod of someone else. Relief comes from what you do about it. Relief comes from taking ownership and taking action even when no one is watching. Think about it. Every time you seek attention for your struggles, you're relying on an external force to soothe an internal battle. That's backwards. The healing, the progress, the growth, these things are personal. They happen when you decide to face your challenges head-on, to confront them with courage, to do the work quietly and consistently. When you move in silence, without expecting acknowledgement, something shifts inside you. You stop waiting for someone else to validate your pain. You start trusting your own strength, your own instincts, your own ability to overcome. And that is how real transformation begins. Action has power that words do not. Words can create awareness. They can express emotion, but they cannot change reality. The world doesn't bend to the weight of your complaints. It bends to the force of your efforts. Every step you take, every problem you solve, every fear you face in private builds resilience and capability. And unlike sympathy, which is temporary and shallow, action creates permanent change. It moves you from being a passive participant in your life to being the architect of your future. There's another crucial point. When you rely on others for attention, you surrender control. You give them a say in your emotions, in your outlook, in your energy. And people rarely give it back in the way you hope. Some will offer half-hearted support. Some will turn your struggles into gossip. Some will simply forget. But action doesn't depend on anyone else. Action is sovereign. Action is yours alone. You act, you heal, you grow, and the world cannot take that away. Many people underestimate the quiet power of action because it often goes unnoticed. And that's the beauty of it. When you do the hard work silently, without expectation, without announcement, without seeking sympathy, you create results that speak for themselves. When the results appear, when the obstacles fall, when your life starts, reflecting the effort you put in, that is validation enough. It's stronger than applause because it's earned, not borrowed. So, if you want to heal, if you want to overcome, stop looking for an audience. Stop posting your pain. Stop venting endlessly. Stop waiting for someone else to notice. Instead, focus on what you can do. What action can you take today that moves you closer to the solution? What step can you take that reduces the weight of the problem? What choice can you make that demonstrates your strength rather than your weakness? The answers are always within you. They always have been. You just need the courage to act, because the truth is, healing is not a performance. It is not a story for others to consume. Healing is doing the work, facing the pain, and emerging stronger quietly, fiercely, and on your own terms. And when you learn that, no one else's opinion, attention, or sympathy will ever be necessary to validate your journey. Your comeback story is more impressive than your complaint story. And this is where the real power of keeping your struggles private becomes clear. Everyone faces challenges. Everyone battles setbacks, doubts, fears, and disappointments. But not everyone rises above them. Some people spend their lives talking about what's wrong, sharing their frustrations, hoping someone will notice, hoping someone will pity them. And in the process, they give away the most valuable thing they have, the potential to turn their struggle into strength. But when you choose to handle your battles quietly, when you work in silence, while others are busy observing, something extraordinary happens. You build a life that speaks louder than any words ever could. People don't remember complaints. They don't admire venting. They notice results. They respect resilience. And when your comeback is visible, when your success is undeniable, that is when the world finally sees the magnitude of what you endured and, more importantly, what you overcame. Your story becomes legendary, not because you shared the pain, but because you transformed it into triumph. And there's no greater satisfaction than knowing that the very struggles you carried in silence became the foundation of your strength. Think about it this way. Every challenge you face, every obstacle you overcome without broadcasting it is a step toward mastery. Every quiet victory is a brick in the fortress of your character. You're not performing for anyone. You're building yourself. And when you finally rise, when you achieve, when people notice, they don't just see success. They see the evidence of endurance, the result of discipline, and the proof that true power often operates in silence. Your comeback is unstoppable. because it's rooted in action, not in explanation. There's also a psychological advantage to this approach. When you keep your struggles private, you remove the pressure of public scrutiny. You remove the temptation to perform for approval. You free yourself to experiment, to fail, to learn, and to grow without fear of judgment. This freedom is priceless. It allows you to take risks, to innovate, to push beyond what others think is possible. And each risk, each step taken without needing an audience, compounds into results that no one can replicate or diminish. Your journey becomes uniquely yours, and the impact of your comeback is magnified because it is earned in silence. Most people will never understand the value of silent struggle. They live in a world that glorifies complaints, confessions, and oversharing. But you, by choosing to rise quietly, are doing something few ever master. You are taking ownership of your story. You are deciding when, where, and how the world sees your strength. You are creating a narrative that cannot be twisted or exploited because it is backed by real results, not by words or promises. And when you finally reveal your triumphs, when the results speak louder than any complaint ever could, that is when respect is earned. That is when admiration is given. That is when your journey inspires without needing explanation. People don't need to know how hard it was. They just need to see what you've accomplished. And in that moment, the comeback is always more powerful, more impressive, and far more enduring than the story of the struggle ever could have been. So remember this. Your comeback story is your most valuable narrative. Guard your struggles, face them quietly, and work relentlessly. The world doesn't need to witness your pain, but it will marvel at your rise. And that is the kind of power, respect, and legacy that complaining, sharing, or seeking sympathy can never give.